Alrighty, welcome. I am Heather Pierce Campbell, the legal website warrior. I'm an attorney and legal coach based here in Seattle, Washington, serving information entrepreneurs throughout the US and the world. Welcome to another episode of Guts, Grit, and Great Business. I am super excited for this conversation. We are going to have a lot of fun today, and I'm super excited about what you're going to learn. Welcome to Ashley Ann. And I just am smiling saying that. Before we went live, I told Ashley, I'm already a fan because my sister is named Ashley Ann. So I can't say that name and not smile. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you for having me. And Ashley's are awesome, but Ashley Ann's are double awesome.
Totally.
So if you got one in your life, you know what I mean? We make it better.
Oh, you're right on the double awesome. She is pure sunshine. I joke, like, if I could just munch her up like down into like pocket size and just put her in my pocket and carry her around everywhere, I would totally do that. For those of you that don't know this particular Ashley Ann, also known as King Ashley Ann, is a talented biz builder, public speaker, and social media strategist. Ashley has helped over 11,000 individuals monetize their social media, and over 700 people create six-figure incomes. She has currently helped 151 people create seven-figure incomes, and 9 of her clients are consistently doing $1 million months. She has also helped over 1,000 businesses generate $25K to $45K per month using live stream. You can connect with Ashley Ann on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at King Ashley Ann. Oh, I love it. Welcome, Ashley Ann. I'm super excited about this conversation because when it comes to social media, I am the wrong person to be talking about it or teaching anything about it. So this will be a lot of fun.
I love everything about social media, like even all that little annoying stuff. I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it.
You and my sister Ashley Ann would get along. This is all like people are reaching out to her. She's actually in medical sales. She's been in sales for years, but she is a natural, bubbly, like glowing personality. So social media is like so easy for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just even in her own little natural way, she hasn't done much to like try to figure it out. She just goes and does it. And I'm like, you do something that looks like it takes you 5 minutes. It would take me like 2 hours to figure out how to do that thing. Right. So it is interesting. I think certain personalities just really naturally do it better. I'm just going to say that. And that's not to say that we can't figure it out, the rest of us that are on the slower train. But it's why we need people like you in our lives to help us figure it out and elevate our online presence and really show up in ways that help us get our message out and talk to the right people that we should be talking to.
Yeah, it's really honestly about being intentional. And so I was one of those people too. I just kind of started doing it. And before, content marketing was actually coined content marketing, I had already been doing that for years. And I was like, okay, well, what is am I doing that's getting me success? And I started looking at other people that were really successful and just kind of dissecting it and breaking it down until we created a system that was easy to replicate. And so I think a lot of people have anxiety because, like you're saying, they're like, well, I don't have this big personality or I'm not really bubbly. You don't have to be. Like, you can be yourself. Your vibe will attract your tribe. But everybody that's going to monetize or create a profitable page, you definitely have to be intentional, right? And so it's like a method to all of the madness.
Well, I love that. And for folks listening, even just hearing there's a method to the madness, like already I'm like, ooh, that feels better. Let's talk about the method. I'm curious about your start. Where were you in your journey when you started figuring out like social media and the fact that you could do this really well and impact people and grow your business exponentially?
So it took a while for me to like kind of connect the dots. So my very first company is an event design and production company. Still running it to this day. That's how I made my first milli, all that good stuff, and how I actually learned I was good at social media marketing and monetization. And so I met this lady at a chamber, and she was a really cool chick, and she ran an art gallery. And so we would talk every now and then it started to become more frequently. And then eventually got to the point she was calling me like 3-4 times a week. She had this business manager that she was paying $5,000 a month to. And eventually I got to the point I was like, why do you keep calling and asking me stuff? You have this business manager. And she said, just says, because everything you tell me works. It always works. And that's why I kind of had the light bulb of like, okay, like if they're paying somebody else thousands of dollars, but you're always calling me, you should be paying me thousands of dollars, right? So then I had a couple of other colleagues in the event industry, and I found out like they were like, no, they were like, they don't do anything. They're like, we don't do anything unless we talk to you first. And so his girlfriend was there, one of the guys, and she was like, yeah, she was like, he really will not do anything pertaining to business until he runs it by you first. So that's when I first like got the light bulb that I should be consulting. I still hadn't quite understood the fact yet that everybody didn't really get social media as far as from a monetary perspective. And so I was doing general, business building, and I had a ad agency. So I was running people's Facebook ads and killing it, doing a really good job. I think at that time I was probably doing like $500,000 a year or something like that. And anyways, it still took a few years for me to put together that I need to focus on social media. So during this time, I don't know, like time is kind of running together. I'd say maybe
right. Don't even talk to me about time since
decade or
COVID
something.
hit. Yeah.
So back in the day, there was this scam, and the scam was people would come in and they say, I'm going to run your Facebook ads for you. And they would run these things called worldwide campaigns. And so, it sounds like, ooh, this is really fabulous, right? It was not. Okay. It's not. To this day, if somebody tells you they want to run a worldwide campaign, unless they have like a really specific purpose of what they're going to do with this vanity traffic, just run in the other direction. Okay. Do not give them any money. Do not give them a card, nothing. So what happens in a worldwide campaign, they go and they buy lower tier traffic. So when you're buying traffic on like YouTube or Facebook or TikTok or wherever you're getting it from, US, Canada, Europe, Australia, and I'm missing a country. There's 5 countries though. We're like considered tier 1. It costs a bit more for our traffic, but we spend more money, right? And those currencies have like, they have higher values than the other currencies. Well, in these worldwide campaigns, they would go and run your post to like people like in Cambodia, the Philippines, maybe somewhere in Ghana, somewhere where the traffic does not cost as much. You're not going to get a customer there. You're literally never going to see these people come into your store or shop, or into your gym or whatever it is that you have. And so it would have all these business owners feeling terrible, right? Because they've gone into their 401ks, they've maxed out their credit cards, they're doing everything that they can to like build their business. And basically someone is taking advantage of them, because back in the day, it was called Power Editor is what it was called for Facebook. And I will say this, it's definitely still overwhelming, but it was really overwhelming back then. And it was like its own language. And they knew that people did not know what was going on. So they come to you with a report and they're like, look, we got 10,000 views, to your page. We got you 2,000 new followers. So it's not our fault that your gym is failing or your bakery isn't doing well, or, your lawn care business that you're not booking new clients. It's something wrong with your ads. It's something wrong with your service. Maybe it's your pricing, right? Because look at how many people came and viewed. Look at how many people came and liked. And the business owner didn't know the difference, right? They know what was going on. So long story long, I started this thing called Late Night Business. And I was like, I'm just going to get on here and teach for free so y'all do not get scammed. And I would start showing everybody the back end of like my ad accounts, teaching them terms, metrics, how you can build up your own base without spending any money, on ads and stuff like that. And I had no idea that it was going to grow as big as it did, but it just kind of took off. But that's literally how,
That's
how all of
amazing.
that happened. Yeah.
Well, I love it. I mean, when people start to recognize like you had this talent, you knew what you were doing, you'd figured it out without really knowing that you'd figured it out, right? Knowing that it was something that you could monetize. And then just showing up to like help people. So actually, my sister, Ashley Ann, who I was also mentioning before we went live, is also a natural on social media. And I mean, and it's not her expertise like it is yours, but she naturally does it and does it well and can get
Mhm.
a lot of traction and traffic, especially in the medical sales world. She was in a, I don't know, for lack of a better phrase, like a desert of people that didn't know how to present medical devices and stuff in a way that would actually engage people and get people to comment and pique their interest. And, and so I've always laughed like, Ashley, you need to come to my house and sit down next to me and pick up this thing called an iPhone and actually like show me how to do it. So this is what you were doing, it sounds like, through your videos, like being the helper, and then things exploded for you. I love this story. I love that like you naturally leaned into this, because it is, I can say, even from my personal standpoint, the story you describe about going on to Facebook and trying to even run like an ads campaign. I did a very basic one. I think I was just trying to get like my page exposure. I can't even remember what I did, but I remember reading something, studying how you create a certain audience, thinking like, well, I should at least be generally targeting the right kind of people in the right kind of business.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no, I wasn't. Like 2 days later, I had to turn that darn thing off because I was getting like wackadoodles from like backwoods wherever. I don't even know where they were from, but they were not in business and they were not the people that I needed to be helping. And I was like, what is Facebook showing? Like, who is it showing these ads to? This is not the inputs that I put into this thing, right? And so
Yeah.
I do think it does baffle people.
Mm-hmm. It is. And then you don't, you have to figure out how to build like a lookalike audience, and you have to figure out how to build an audience based off of your engagement, audience based off of views, what audience to include, what audience to exclude, how many times a day you want people to see the ads. Like it definitely, it's a lot to learn. It's challenging to try and go in there blind and think that you're going to have success.
Yeah. So where do you start with clients? When people come to you and they're like, look, I really need help. Do you have a process that you walk them through? Like, how would you help somebody do this better?
Yeah, so the first thing I do is I just try and figure out, well, what exactly do you need help with? Or let me rephrase that, what do they think they need help with? Like 90% of the time, people don't
They're
know what
wrong.
they want, an end result. So they know what end result they're looking for, but they don't quite understand the process enough to know this is where I am, right? So I just try and talk with them a little bit so they can tell me like what's their biggest challenges, what are their biggest hurdles. I also am always very interested in wanting to know like what my clients are looking for in the next 90 days, right? So like what's your immediate result, and then what have you already tried to remedy this, right? So have you already tried a program? Did you go around the world on a plane? Have you worked with like 7 or 8 people? Are you taking courses? Have you outsourced and hired other companies? But what exactly have you done? Because I don't like wasting people's time. So I'm not going to have you do something if we know it doesn't work for you, or maybe we can try it, but we need to modify the way that we did it. And so I really am like invested in helping someone get a win, right? As fast as we can help them get a win. Especially in business, it's challenging sometimes. If you haven't had a win, it really can affect your confidence, right? When it comes to, and sometimes I meet a lot of people that have really amazing offers, whether it's a book or a podcast or, a food truck, or they, teach people how to garden. It doesn't matter what it
Yeah,
is, but it's
right.
like awesome. They just are targeting the wrong people. And so they start to get discouraged about their idea.
Totally. No, I think there's a lot of truth in that. And like not being able to gain momentum, even, connecting with the right people or getting feedback that your message is even landing. And it's, I think there's a lot that goes into doing this well. But people need all the help. They need all the tips and strategies. And sometimes, like you said, they have to try a few things to figure out what works for them. Because I think the other thing is there is no like one size fits all,
No,
right? Depending on
no.
the business, the personality, like I'm sure you've seen so much where, different things factor into how somebody
Yeah.
does.
It's like you said, it's the business, it's the personality. How big is your niche? What is your daily life like? Like, I can't create a marketing plan for someone that they're not going to have time to execute, right? What's the different budget that you have? You know, like what, like literally, like how long does it even take someone to convert into a client for you? A lot of people don't even know how long the life cycle is. They have no idea how long from the time someone knows that they exist into how long it actually took them to like open up their wallet, and swipe their
Mm,
card or put in the information. And I'll give you an example. So, like, I know you're a mom and you have dogs. So, you're probably not going to be able to go live online like 4 or 5 times a day. It just
right.
does not fit for you, right? Now, someone who is single, they get to be selfish with all of their time.
They
They're going to,
always look awesome. They don't
right?
have a messy house.
They're going to be able to be on early in the morning, late at night, in the
Mhm.
afternoon, just kind of chronicling their whole life. But
Mhm.
for my moms and dads, normally I'm like, okay, realistically, like tell me your schedule with the kids, right? So, okay, I need you to get up 30 minutes earlier so you can spend, get your first post out of the way. I need you to go like 100 people's accounts. I need you to like comment on 20 people's accounts and then leave your phone alone, right? I'm also going to need you to get a VA so that they can respond to all the emails and the DMs for you that you can't get to, which is important because 80% of people actually buy from who responds to them first. It's not even who's the best fit, it's just who responded first, right? Because if they have it in their mind that they're ready to hire somebody, they literally made a list and they're just going person after person after person after person. Whoever talked to me first, that's who I'm buying it from. So literally even having like someone in that can handle that while you go to work, handle bath time, homework time, take them to the extracurricular activities, right? Then, all right, well, now you need to take a break, like an hour for yourself. And then after you take this hour for yourself, I need for you once a week to try and do a live stream or interview or collaboration with someone else, because that's going to fit their schedule compared to someone who's just floating around like me. I have all the time because I don't have any kids. you
Yeah.
know, people always ask me, they're like, how you getting so much done? And the first thing I would tell them is, I ain't got no kids and I ain't got no man. Now I got a man now because I'm engaged, but before then, I did not
Right.
have to share my time with anybody. And
It's
so I literally,
huge.
so
It's
I was able
huge.
to way more. So yeah, when I have a client that they're not a caregiver, they're not a parent, what I'm saying, they're out here living solo dolo, I definitely expect them to be doing a lot more engagement based, and relational interactions on social media than for a parent or a caregiver.
Yeah, it's so true. Well, and the point that you make about responsiveness is huge, and it's
Yeah.
huge in modern times because one, people expect it. I
Hmm.
even think of the difference, like because I'm in the legal world, right? So I'm an attorney and practicing law, like the pace of life as a lawyer, even, let's say 20 years ago, was very different than it is now. People expect immediate responses. They expect that you're going to be available. They expect that they don't have to wait very long for anything.
Right.
Right? And it's true of inquiries as well. I recently had somebody who I wanted to take really good care of because of the referral source. And I emailed her back immediately. And I didn't hear anything for a couple of days. And I had to email again. And guess what? Just like you said, my email had gone into spam or someplace. She didn't even see it. So she hired somebody else, even though I'm quite sure I was the more qualified individual for this particular thing because I knew what she was being referred for. Right. But it's like people do just want fast service.
Yeah, they want to, even if it's, hey, we got your query. One of the ones for, so in the event world, a lot of us like Thursday through Monday we're occupied because everybody has events during the weekend, right? And so one of our most popular emails, and in the voicemail we would get clients who say, hey, I got your message, but we're out hanging chandeliers and throwing glitter at someone else's event. We can't wait to do the same for you. Give the Tuesday and we'll write you back. And literally, my client close rate went up by 30% just because even though it was an autoresponder, it was still some form of communication. And we let them know when they could expect to hear from us. So trying to put those things in place for people that are really, really busy, or even some people that still work their 9 to 5, right? Then
Yeah.
they're to get those 2 or 3 hours together to work on their business. You have to be able to do that. And so literally like looking at someone's life and saying, okay, this is what's going to work better for you. And this is probably why in the past, when you've attempted some of these things, you didn't have the success you were looking for. And then somebody else now that ain't got nothing going on, they ain't got no excuses. I'm riding them down, girl, like a banshee. Okay. I'm like, I'm all on you like white on rice. I don't want to hear it. Save them excuses for your mama. Save them tears for your daddy. Okay. Don't argue with me. You argue with somebody else. Like, let's hop to it. Right.
I love it. It's what people need. It's what people need. Yeah. So what do you find most people get wrong most of the time?
Oh, they think they need to be popular. And that's not how you make money online. Like I always teach my clients prosperity over popularity, prosperity over popularity, prosperity over popularity. I cannot tell you how many people come to me with hundreds of thousands or millions of followers that got all the blue check marks and they are broke by broke. Okay. Those like empty likes do not, they don't get you commas in
They
your
don't
account.
pay the bills.
They do not. Okay. Like, and people are so obsessed with trying to be popular because I honestly don't know who started this rumor, but for some reason, people think if you have a bunch of followers that like instantaneously you're going to make money. And I have clients who literally have 300 and 400 followers who are making in between $5,000 and $10,000 a month consistently every single month. So it's really more about the quality is the first thing. And I don't think people spend enough time trying to figure out who is their ideal client, like who is this avatar. And I'm not talking about the demographic information. Like, yeah, we all know about age and, socioeconomic and income stuff. You're going to go so much further with psychographics, like who is this person, what do they do on the weekend, what do they like to watch, what do they shop at, like Walmart, or are they shopping at Target? Because someone that shops at Walmart is going to be cost focused compared to somebody that likes to shop at Target. They're going to be more quality focused, right? Then and that makes a big difference. If you're selling something that's $20, okay, we'll target all the people to shop at Walmart. But if you have a program or you have a service and it costs thousands of dollars, you probably actually want to target the people that shop at Target, shop at farmers markets, go to Whole Foods, because they don't mind spending a little bit more because they're looking for the quality and the level of service that you're going to get, right?
Yeah.
You need to figure out like what type of clothes do they wear. The number one rule of marketing is be where your people are. So if I like Sephora makeup over MAC, then you probably can go to some beauty pages on Instagram and Facebook, put my content there so that way I'm showing up right in front of my avatar and they know that I exist. So I don't think people really spend enough time just trying to figure out like who is this client? Like what's their personality? What are their interests? Are they vegan? Do they soul cycle? Are they moms? If they're a mom, do their kids play football or do their kids play soccer? Are they in gymnastics, right? Like literally trying to find out everything about your client that you can. So I always tell people you need to spend some time stocking and chicken hawking because people put all their business out on social media. You need to be looking, scrolling, paying attention to what they're posting. Did she have some wine? Did she have a Coach purse or a Louis Vuitton bag? You know what I mean? Like what is really going on with this person? And so if I can figure out what my people like, well, I can go and find pages, right, that correlate with that. And if I'm running ads, I can put those parameters inside of the ads manager too. And voila, all of a sudden, here I am on your screen. And people are like, I don't know how I found you. Well, truth is, boo, you didn't find me. I found you. Okay. I just put myself in your way so I can be seen. So that, and I would say like the third biggest mistake that I see people making is they confuse consistency with frequency, right? And it's not about just posting a bunch of times. Like, what's the tone? I tell people really they shouldn't have more than 3 fonts that they're using for their stuff. What's the nature of the content? 80% of your content should be around your core offer. The other 20% is where you can put up all that other random stuff. Okay. people are not, they don't have the same voice. Like one day they're conservative, the next day they're bold, another day, right? Another day they're like out here like trying to be super educational. No, just be yourself. And then you're not going to have to worry about not having an inconsistent tone, because you're authentic to who you are. So people feel comfortable with you. So those are like the top three. Now I could probably come up with like 20 mistakes I see people making online, but I think those are the biggest three that affect people's income.
So good. And that popularity thing, oh my gosh. It's so like when you said that, something came to mind. There is somebody in the online space, I'm not going to mention names, millions of followers, right? And I work with some people in the online space from a legal perspective that have businesses at the top of their industries. And so what it means is that those clients get eyeballs on their websites, on some of their legal documentation, which I build. And so people are ripping it off all the time.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so then I have to go after them and say, look, this documentation is not yours. Somebody else paid for it. You need to take this down off your website. Sometimes they don't even remove the name of the original business they took it from. Like,
they should out.
No. And so this one individual who, again, by all outward appearances, you were like, he should be able to pay me 40 times my rate for this particular service based on how you would think he's doing in business. But here he is just stealing it off somebody else's site because they had their legal ducks in a row. And, it is just fascinating. But that popularity thing doesn't pay your bills. Like, that's such an important point for people to take away, that it really is about quality over quantity and connecting with exactly the right people. And I love the level of detail you went into about how curious we all should be getting about who our clients really are.
Yeah, you got to be able to speak to people in the language, right, that they understand. And you're not going to be able to do that if you don't know who they are. And you don't have to try and make everyone be your customer. Like, I know for a fact I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but the guys and gals that get it, they get it. They like me, they roll with me. Some people can't handle all of my blinking and all this other stuff that I'm doing. They're like, oh my gosh, she's too animated, I can't take her, right? And other people, they're like, yes, I love it. Like, she's making business not be boring for me, and I can remember the things she's teaching me. And yes, I know exactly, what she's talking about when she gave that reference. So just understanding, like, just being yourself and talking to your people, that's what gets us conversions, right? That's what gets you sustainable income. All of these stupid rules, I don't even know who comes up with these rules, and I have to, if I'm being frank, a lot of these people that are putting this information out there, they've never done it before. It's all theory. I can't tell you how many rooms I've sat in before, and there's somebody up on stage talking about like making money with social media or how to build up a, podcast and all this other kind of stuff that they're talking about. And they have not done it. And the information they're giving is terrible. That's honestly how I got into speaking. Before, I never used to speak, and people would send me invitations. I'd be like, oh no, thank you. I started going because it's like, clearly there's a lot of misinformation going on out here. So I need to open up my fat mouth, and I need to say something.
I need to fix this problem.
So people can get what they need, right? And so, like, I would see people would get so mad at me because I'd be like, you shouldn't be telling people you're going to teach them how to build up followers and you don't have at least 10,000 followers. It doesn't make sense. There's only 10% of people on each social media platform that are able to get past the 10K threshold. Why are y'all listening to someone on stage with 800 followers tell you how to build your followers? It doesn't make sense. But people were just, looking for information and willing to say, I will try anything to improve my business, right? To improve my situation, to grow and be successful. So it was really it's really interesting. Social media and the internet is great because there's a lot of information out there, but it's also not so great because when you're not informed and you're learning something, you can get a lot of misinformation. Somebody literally can give you a map to a toilet and you think it's the greatest thing ever until you get to the toilet and you're like, wait a minute, I've spent, 18 months building all this stuff to get to a toilet. Like, you know what I mean? So I always tell people, make sure that they look for receipts too. Like, there has to be some type of testimonial. There should be other people that can say, I used this system, I bought this book, I ate this thing, whatever it was, and this is what it is. Especially when you're looking for someone to like coach you or mentor you, they need to have receipts. If they ain't got no receipts, child, run. Okay, just run. And don't let them pressure you into buying things. I see a lot of microwave coaches right now too. And they're like, go max out your 401k, max out that car. You better get in here right now because it may not be there tomorrow. Child, they still gonna be, okay. Ain't nobody worried about them. Okay. And they never have, actual real life testimonials to say, this is who I helped and how I helped them. So I know you didn't ask me that, but I just need to throw that in there, y'all, because it's a lot of them out here. You make sure that person is reputable and you can understand the way that they teach. And then, okay, now get into their program.
It really is such an important point, because I agree. The internet is amazing because we have access to so much information, experts, people that really need to be sharing their knowledge. And there are a lot of people who shouldn't be there, right? And it can be hard, especially if somebody is in the beginning phases of trying to start something or build a business or figure out what they're doing, to know who to listen to. And I think it really does pay to slow down and be very careful about who you decide to learn from, because ultimately we are all responsible for our own path in business, in life. We are responsible to choose who we're going to learn from and what we are there to learn from that person.
Yeah.
You're right. There are plenty of people, the high pressure tactics, the bro marketing tactics, like the stuff that you see, you're like, how is this possibly working? Right.
It's too much, but it works because you have so many, I feel like really good people. They are just trying, to do better. They're trying to put themselves in a better position in life. Like, what have they called this year? Was it 2021 with like the great exodus? And then I think they're calling this year like the 2022 is the great restructure, right? Inside of that environment. And you have to think about, you have all these people that are like, you know what? I would rather try and work for myself or build my own thing or develop my side hustle than put myself in a super stressful, toxic, negative work environment. And so now you have all these people, they're like, all right, I'm going to get out here. I'm going to give it a try. And they're super excited. And, then they're met with just, boo-boo the fool. As my grandma would say, yeah, man, was boo-boo the fool, but you don't know it's boo-boo the fool, right?
Until you get to the toilet. Yes. Oh, it's so bad. I know. Well, and I feel like we could talk all day about social media, and you have this whole other business background in design and event planning, right? I mean, it's so great. And you want to share for a moment about that business? Because is that where you started?
Yeah, that's where all of it started. So now it's really funny and quite comical. Even though I have a background in design and I'm really good at it, that's just my natural God-given gift.
Right.
My bachelor's degree is in finance and I have a master's in business. I've never taken one design class in my life. I'm all self-taught, right?
I love it. I love it.
Say, if there's anybody out there that's listening right now and you have a skill, you have a gift at something, like you just can do it the way that people can breathe, you can just do this thing. Do not be afraid to go and develop that and build up your portfolio and put yourself out there, and you can make money doing something you like to do. So with my events, like I started off with interior design and event design, and it was like I was never going to work. I'm like, so you mean to tell me someone will pay me to come in here and shop for furniture and pick out dishes and put colors on walls and paint, like stuff that I just like to do? Like somebody's going to pay me money just to come in here and play deck and dress up their house?
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. this is great. So the first thing that I did on that side is I worked for free, and it's unpopular and people don't like to hear that, but I just needed to build up my portfolio, right? And so it could have been a confidence issue at the time, but I just didn't feel right charging people money for something that I was still kind of, I feel like at the time maybe experimenting with. right?
Yeah.
Like I knew how to decorate, I knew how to design, but I hadn't had, like, at that time, paid clients. I had decorated all my friends and family's houses. I've been doing showers and all that stuff for them. But like literally, I didn't have anyone come up and say, hey, I'm a paying client, and I need to invoice them and put together structures and stuff. And so it was really good that I was working for free, because then I was able to appropriately, really say it takes me this many hours, right,
Yeah.
to put together a design. It takes us this long to shop. I know I'm gonna have to visit, 7 to 8 different stores. Like literally being able to say, this is what I'm doing all day, and this is the justification for why you should be paying this amount of money with the invoice. So I did that, and like I said, it's always unpopular, but it's not really working for free. If you think about it, it's really marketing and advertising, right? And you're able to get the learning curve as far as like your packages and job sites and how many extra people you need. And honestly, when you're not charging people, they're way more lenient with you. They're way more understanding, right? It's a
You
win-win
get to
for
learn.
everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a really good point you make. Like even the painful part of the process being that you didn't get paid, but the upside that you had all this information to work with after you'd probably done a few of those, where suddenly you come into your pricing and how you're going to structure your services with a lot more information than somebody who's trying to figure that out at the very start. Right. And that
Yeah.
becomes an informed approach.
Yeah, and it was really easy to say I charge this amount of money and for people to pay it, because I had a portfolio now, right? I
Yeah.
had work that they could see. I had clients or referrals to say, yeah, I worked with Ashley. She did a great job. This is what happened during this project. So I would encourage anybody, whatever it is that you're doing, and I know, all over the internet, they're going to tell you, you get paid what you're worth. You don't do anything for free. It's not free. It's marketing and advertising. Okay. You really don't know what you're worth yet, because you haven't kicked out any work. So we don't know what the quality
That's
is.
right. Yeah.
And you go and you build up that portfolio and you get all that learning experience so you can go out and then build a really super successful business.
Well, and I appreciate the honesty in that. And I think it also reflects the fact that there is no one way through. There's no
Yeah.
one way to build something or do something or get your start, right? You have to
Yeah.
do something that works right for you. And for some people, that is the right way. My sister, who I said is a natural on social media, and she's a little bit of a unicorn because she lives in the medical sales world, the medical device. And people come to her, like she's coming to Bellevue, right outside of Seattle, next week to put on a whole seminar for a whole bunch of people in the industry about how to handle their social media, because they just don't know. They've got
Yeah.
office managers, they have estheticians, they have individuals within their business that are just trying to make their way through. And people are also starting to hire her one-on-one. But guess what she said to me? I offer them an hour of my strategic time for free, because she's
Yeah.
like, I'm just, I'm getting enough of this request. I'm going to have to figure it out if I want to do it, but I don't know how I want to structure it. I don't know what I want to do. So she's doing the exact same thing, where she's just going to serve people,
Yeah.
limit her time, but do it in a way that gets her educated as well as them. And then she's going to have a bunch of raving fans.
Yep. That's the easiest way to do it. And I think
Yes.
sometimes people, they're so focused on a sale, they don't really think about sustainability, right? Like we don't want lightning striking, like, okay, lightning struck there once. We don't want that. We want to be able to call in the rain and call in the storm whenever we feel like it. And when you're just kind of doing all this one-off stuff, you don't have control, right? Like right now I've been really focused on these like pandemic millionaires, right? And they're all popping up and they're like, oh, I'm an expert in business because I made, $250,000, or I made 300,000 last year, or I made, 700,000, or even crossed $1 million. And now we've gotten into 2022, right? And people are back outside. People, right? They're not really glued to their computers, because I think a lot of us, like, I know I was guilty of this when I was at home. I was ordering everything because I was in the house. Oh, I'm going to fix this. We're going to change that. I'm going to move this over. We need to have this at home because we're all going to be here, for the next, I had no idea it was going to be 2 years when it first started, right?
Right.
So we're spending a lot of time in the backyard and around, and this is what I want to do. And so Well, now people are back outside and they're not glued to their phones anymore. And, they have other options and stuff. And so now the math ain't math in a lot of these people's accounts, and they can't figure out, well, how did I go from 500,000 and I can't even get to, 30,000 this year, but now they're
Interesting.
right. But now they're out here telling people, oh, I'm going to help you build a business. Well, no, you didn't build a business. You hit a lick. You had a really good year. And in order to build a business, we got to see how we deal with like good years, bad years, how we get ourselves out of holes, right, we're able to put together strategies and systems, how we're able to rebound. How do you make it through different administrations, right? Every administration that comes in, they have different laws and rules, and tax structures change and all kinds of things. Like, so story
So
long about myself,
yeah,
but you know what I mean? Like,
no, there's so much good stuff in there. It's so true. And the way that I think about, like, even when you shared the example of like doing services for free and you're creating some raving fans, and yes, they're going to be lenient with you and you learn all this stuff, but it's like, whatever I do in my business, I think of planting seeds. Where am I planting seeds? How, like, we always need to be planting seeds. And, even my sister, like in that little social media example, like, she's planting a ton of seeds because she's
she-
willing to show up for people.
she's gonna have a whole forest.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
it. And I think if people have that approach, then you don't see some of these one-offs. Like, I still do free introductory calls for people. They're 15 minutes, but I will get on and answer questions and help point somebody in the right direction. Because even if they don't ultimately work with me, they might like go get us. If I don't, let's say I don't solve their particular problem and I provide them referral, they're going to remember that I spent time on the phone with them, that I was generous in even being willing to connect them or help them find somebody who would solve their problem. And if they know somebody that has a problem that I will solve, that I can solve, like, they will send me that referral. I can bank on it every time. Just, time with people is planting seeds. And so I love people who have that approach in their business of like not needing to nitpick every little dime or 5 minutes that they spend here or there, because I don't know. I think of the planting seeds analogy, and the folks that I've seen do best in business, like you, create raving fans before you're even charging.
Yeah, I think though you said something a while back that was really important. You have to serve. And realistically, if you don't want to make someone's day better in some aspect, I almost wonder, like, should you be in business, right? If I'm always focused on how can I help my client? How can I put a smile on their face? How can I answer a question for them? How can I help them get past a problem? How can I help them get to some type of desired state that they're trying to reach? That's my goal, right? And if we can do that, like, honestly, I know it sounds cliche, but the money will come, right? If we're really focused on how can we help people with a specific thing, how can I serve you in that capacity, the money's going to come, because you're going to get so good at what you do. People are going to go, yeah, you need to call him or you need to call her for this specific thing. Right. And before you know it, like, they're going to be in a position like your sister, people just trying to hire you. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm not even doing this right now, but I better think about it. Right. Because all these people want this from me.
Yes, it's so true. And I do love that. And you defined it well. It is about serving and having the heart of a servant of like, how do I help this person solve a problem that they need solved today?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's business, right?
It is. It is. Even when you look at the biggest companies in the world, they really are serving some type of need or desire for people, right? You look at a store like a Walmart, and initially when they started, it was like, how can I make life more convenient, right? And I'm going to get all these products and I'm going to put them in one place, right? And they developed and got larger and larger, right? And then they were like, well, we're going to put food here and we're going to put auto department in here. And some big Walmarts in big cities, they have full on like household appliance departments, and you can go and buy washers and fryers and refrigerators and stuff. But so now while you're getting your oil change, you're shopping for a refrigerator, you picked up your groceries, and you went and bought a pair of flip-flops, right?
Isn't that the truth?
But, yeah.
Yeah, that is truly one-stop shopping. Um, what is it that you enjoy the very most about your work?
All of the people that I get to help get paid doing things that they like to do.
Mm.
When you really think about it, as adults, we spend a third of our waking hours working. That is a lot of time. You should be happy doing whatever work is for you. And I feel like if I can get people in a place where they're happy to do what they're doing, if they're fulfilled, guess what? You're going to be a better mom. You're going to be a better dad.
Mhm.
You're going to be a better spouse, a better neighbor, a better prayer partner, a better sorority sister. Whatever it is that you do, you're going to be better at it because you're happy. You're going to be a better parent, right? All of that. And
Mhm.
so if we can help people make money doing stuff that either is in their purpose or that they really enjoy doing, well, guess what? Now we have money, we have financial security. So now I can really figure out like, what am I really supposed to be doing on the planet Earth? How can I positively impact other people instead of people that are miserable? You know what I'm saying? They're
Mhm.
upset, their blood pressure is
Going
high.
to a job. Yes.
Yes, the Krabby Patty. They got the Sunday night blues because they're depressed. They got to go in on Monday morning. It's just not a fun life to live, right?
Mhm.
So my favorite thing is just being able to help people like just get paid to do stuff that they like to do.
Oh, I love that so much. But really, I mean, that larger mission is beautiful because when people are happy, you're right, it radiates into every other area of their life, and
Yeah.
it's same like for me, my mission as an attorney serving small businesses and information entrepreneurs in the online space is that when we can help the mission driven, socially conscious ones win, actually create a thriving business,
Mhm.
their families are better, their
Yeah.
communities are better, their work impacts more people. It's the same, right? Rising
Yeah.
tide lifts all boats.
That's right. And it's so is I don't know how to describe how good it feels to be able to wake up in the morning and you are just excited about your day, right?
Mm,
Because I've been in a space where I woke up in the morning and I was not excited about my day. And I was just like, ah, here we go again. But to be able to get up and say, like, oh, I get to do this today. You know what I'm saying? It's really, I feel like it's what everybody deserves, and
mm.
I want to help as many people as possible get there.
Oh, I love that. So what are the ways that people can work with you?
Well, the first thing, y'all can pull up on me on social media.
Mm.
I'm on TikTok and Instagram the most. I do have a YouTube and a Twitter, but I should be ashamed to say that I'm on I'm on TikTok and Instagram at least like 3 hours a day. But it is my job. But I'm like, that's where I'm at.
You get a pass. It is your job. You get a
I,
pass.
I
You
try my
you make
best.
up for the time that I am not on social media.
I try and respond to comments. People are surprised to this day. I still respond to comments. I still respond to DMs. Now, granted, it may take me 3 or 4 weeks to respond to your DM because it's like way more of y'all than there are me. But I spend a fair amount of time online, just kind of responding to people and talking to people and those sorts of types of things. And then I do free trainings at least three
Mm.
times a week. So I have this thing called the Commas Club, and it's really free. Like, I'm not going to ask you for any credit card information or anything like that. And you can text the word commas with a K, KOMMAS, to 501-285-8966. And so anytime I'm doing trainings, and I normally will tell you guys what the training is about, coupons, meetups, get-togethers, go check your email. I just dropped a new strategy, free marketing plans, whatever. It's there. We can do birthday gifts too. That's a lot of fun.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, it sounds like a lot of fun. It feels like you've built some fun into your business model. And
Yeah.
for people that are worried, like, oh, I didn't just write down that number, don't worry. We're going to share that, how you can get access to her Commas Club and anything else that you want us to share link wise, including social media handles or profiles at the show notes page, which is legalwebsitewarrior.com/podcast. I know, Ashley, you mentioned being on Instagram and TikTok the most. Do you have a
Yeah.
preference of how people connect with you?
Um, Honestly, just give me a follow and slide in my
Mm.
DM. Or if you join the Commerce Club, literally text us, and like myself or one of my team members will actually text you back. We're real people in there. People always surprised. The
I
first
love
message is
it.
going to be an autoresponder to say, hey, you're on the list now. But literally, you can text us and we will actually write you back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Any other ways that people can get in touch or work with you? How else do you work with your clients?
You always can go to our site, which is ashlyandspeaks.com. You can get a laser session. We do social media audits. We always have some type of product to help you develop your social media, scale your business, understand digital marketing and stuff. And my flagship program is, of course, called Instacoin. That's how I've pushed out all those 6 and 7 figure earners. They come through Instacoin Academy. It is a 12-week program. You get a year of mentorship. We do weekly live trainings and all sorts of stuff in there.
Oh, I love it. What do you have to say to the folks like me that are like, oh, I would be terrified of a website audit? I know I need one.
Don't be afraid. Everything is to help you get to the goal that you want to reach, right? It's not a bad thing. It's just like, hey, here's some areas of improvement. And, everyone's not a strategist, right? So it's like, hey, let's help you get to this goal.
Or not a strategist on social media,
Right.
right? They might be an expert in their work. I serve so many people in the expert space, but they're a technician. End of the day, we're all technicians in what we're doing in our business, right? They're not a strategist when it comes to social media, or they don't want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so that's all. We'll get it simplified, give you a couple steps, and you can get to where you want to go.
Oh, I love it. Well, Ashley, it's been so fun to connect with you. I've experienced firsthand why you have such a massive following, why people love connecting with you. So I really appreciate you coming on here today and sharing a bit about how people can improve in this area. It's super important for online businesses and people who are experts, right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And I got one last piece of advice. Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all,
Well, I was going to ask you, what do you want to leave us with today?
get on TikTok or YouTube. Okay. Or if you can figure out how to do both. At the end of the day, people want to be able to connect with companies and brands and offers via social. 75% of people are going to your social media pages before they even pick up the phone and call you, email you, Google you, anything. That's where they're looking. So you're doing yourself a disservice to not be there. I'm not saying you have to be a content king or queen, okay? But you want to be there and you want to try and post something, right, on a regular basis.
Yeah, I love that. So true. On TikTok, my final question on TikTok because I've heard some mixed advice on TikTok. Are people, because like I work with plenty of people that are age 40 and older, right? They're not the younger crowd. Are they on TikTok?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my, so many of them are there. And I think everybody thinks like they have to dance. You know what I mean? On TikTok, you do not. TikTok is, I'll be honest, I'm going to go out and I'm going to say, I feel like TikTok is the anti-IG, because you know how Instagram things have to be like super curated, really editorial.
So pretty, so beautiful.
Really pretty. People on TikTok, if you go over there with that stuff, they are going to reject you immediately. People on TikTok, they want to know who you are. They want to talk to you. Like literally, you can get on in the car, in your pajamas, in a bonnet. You know what I mean? You can respond to hot topics. You can give people helpful tips. They just want to see. They don't care, when your house is a mess. If you burnt up dinner, you're like, dang, y'all, I burnt up dinner. What should I order tonight? They just really want to know who you are, right? And then you can slide in your business stuff. And I like it because it takes the pressure off of people. Like you literally can have a thought, right? Record it in the parking lot before you go into work and go on about your day. And then the beautiful thing about it, when people comment, just video reply to the comments and you will find that you will start to grow so fast. I do feel that it's the easiest platform to grow on right now.
Oh, interesting. I love that. Okay, folks, you heard it here. You got to get over to TikTok, even if you've been resisting it, or YouTube, or both, preferably both.
Yes. Now I will say this, YouTube, you got to put in a little work, right, on that content. And people that I've seen pick up 100, 200,000 followers in the past year or two on YouTube, at this point, they're putting out like new content, like almost 2-3 times a day. And they're live streaming about 2 or 3 times a week. And so if you don't have the capacity to do that, that's why I said TikTok is really easy. You don't have to put out that much content. You literally can just get on, talk
little
to your
snippets,
respond, little quick snippets, like 15 seconds, 7 seconds, maybe 60, 3 minutes at max, right? They do have this thing, you can do 10 minutes now. Nobody's paying it, not, at least not yet. No one's doing 10 minutes on TikTok. It's all short form. Like you literally can just hold up your phone, talk to that camera, or show what's going on. It's a win-win.
Yeah. On YouTube, is it longer form content?
Longer form content, but they want to see a lot of it. And they are definitely showing a preference right now to people that are live streaming. And like I said, a lot of them that are doing well, they're going live with their community like 2-3 times a week.
Got it. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, those are great tips for anybody listening. And, you know, I think for so many entrepreneurs, like we're well past the day of talking about like, do I need to be doing video? We all know the answer is yes. But it's just, how do we do it in a way that works right with the flow of our days, the flow of our business, the flow of our lives? If you need help, reach out to somebody like Ashley, because you just make it feel like so much more fun than it otherwise is if we're left to our own devices.
Yeah, it's fun and it's easy. And if you're camera shy, you ain't got to put your face on the camera. I know ways to get you around that too. So it's all to the good. Okay. Whatever it is you want to do, or as this is something that my papa, whatever you want in life wants you back. Okay. We can figure out a way to do it.
I love that. Whatever you want in life wants you back, including your social media presence.
Yeah.
All right, Ashley Ann, I'm such a fan. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.